The National Alliance on Mental Illness held its 7th annual rally in Frankfort this morning. Advocates for mental health gathered in the rotunda to hear from lawmakers about what they are doing to support mental health. Jim Stratman has more.
Speakers this morning highlighted the impact of the pandemic and how it's put a spotlight on mental health over the last 2 years, saying that now it's more important than ever we focus on trying to get help for people with mental illness.
Oftentimes with economic distress comes emotional distress, and you know, sometimes it just helps to have somebody with a willing ear that will listen.
Day in and day out, mental health professionals like the ones who packed into the Capitol Rotunda this morning do listen. They listen to people going through distress, suffering from anxiety, depression, and all manners of mental health crises. But this morning, they got to listen to lawmakers, telling them how Frankfort is supporting that fight. Representative Cheryl Stevenson mentioned several bills working their way through the House and the Senate to support mental health. House Bill 48, which would prevent anyone with severe mental illness from receiving the death penalty. House Bill 174, which would extend medical coverage for a year postpartum. House Bill 44, which would approve mental health as a reason for an excused absence at school.
You all are out there each and every day on the front lines fighting this depression, this anxiety, this nervousness, this distress that we so often see in our modern world.
That we hear you and we see you and you're not alone, and that we're proud to stand with you.
Those lawmakers did take some time after the rally today to thank everyone that came out and organizations like NAMI, saying that their door is always open if they can help in any way. Reporting in Frankfort, Jim Stratman, WKYT.
Well, today is International Women's Day, and women in Pikeville are taking the day to celebrate. Many businesses in the downtown area are owned and operated by local women. Much of the area's economy is based around these small businesses, some officials even calling it the backbone of the local economy. Of course, women are not just involved with downtown businesses, but event planning, city planning, and other positions in local government, and their achievements are worth celebrating.
I mean, most of these small stores downtown are owned and ran by women. If you look at our city management, if you sit in on a board meeting, you're going to see some powerful, strong, intelligent, creative, resilient Appalachian women.
Pikeville City Manager Philip Ellswick said Pikeville has a long history of strong women leaders, and that will continue into the future.
And thanks to the cloud cover that continues to stick with us this afternoon, many of us have been unable to not only get back to average, but even make it into the 50s this afternoon. Look outside. High knob camera at UVA-Y sitting at 45, and the overcast continues this afternoon. We'll continue to see that as we head into this evening as well. Buffalo Mountain camera here in Perry County. The sun trying to sneak on through that cloud cover. Not making too much of a difference this afternoon. We remain on the cool side, middle and upper 40s for most. A few low and middle 50s, especially as you head down towards the Tennessee border. But clouds continue to work back into the region this afternoon. That's all ahead of another storm system that's actually headed our way as we head into the night tonight, bringing showers back to the region. That's why you need to go ahead and keep that WYMT weather app handy, because we're going to be falling back to the 40s tonight with those showers with us. I'll have the latest on when we could finally see some dry weather return coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Getting treated for COVID-19 is going to get even easier. That's thanks to the nationwide Test to Treat initiative that kicks off Tuesday. There will be hundreds of places from pharmacies to health centers where people can go get checked out for COVID and get antiviral pills on the spot if they need them. It's part of the President's National COVID-19 Preparedness Plan. It'll also include efforts to make sure people know new treatments are available and how important it is to get treated after symptoms start. President Biden could sign an executive order that would establish possible restrictions and safeguards on cryptocurrency. The move comes amid concerns Russia is using the digital currency to get around the impact of sanctions. CBS's Skylar Henry reports from Washington.
The Biden administration could be preparing a first-of-its-kind executive order to regulate how cryptocurrency is traded. The directive would reportedly task federal agencies with assessing the risks and opportunities of digital currencies and explore the creation of a U.S. digital currency.
The regulators, the industry should be talking to government and creating these rules that ultimately get approved by Congress.
Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have experienced steep price drops over the past week, sparking concerns about the state and future of the digital assets. Todd Alt, the executive chair of BitNow Holdings, says the value of Bitcoin and other crypto should be viewed separately from the U.S. dollar.
The dollar's going to be much more equal, much more liquid, much more widely accepted globally. But Bitcoin over time is going to become the sort of the standard digital asset.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have expressed concerns Russia is using cryptocurrencies to evade crippling sanctions imposed by the U.S. following that country's invasion of Ukraine. Just last week, 4 Democratic senators sent a letter to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen about the issue.
We will continue to look at how the sanctions work and evaluate whether or not there are leakages.
As the fighting continues, cryptocurrencies have become a crucial lifeline for Ukraine. Following an online push, the country's government says it's raised almost $13 million in digital currency, some of which has gone to supply equipment to its forces. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Crypto crime is also on the rise. A report by blockchain data firm Chainalysis says scammers stole $14 billion worth of crypto last year. Google is buying the cybersecurity firm Mandiant for nearly $5.5 billion. Both companies made the announcement today. Mandiant focuses on cyber threat intelligence, response, and testing. It's also known for uncovering the SolarWinds hack, a devastating breach that impacted a number of federal agencies and private businesses. The acquisition is one of Google's largest to date and is expected to help the company provide secure cloud services to people around the world. McDonald's joins the rapidly growing list of businesses refusing to work with Russia, announcing this afternoon they are temporarily closing all 850 locations in the country in response to President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. The burger giant said it will continue paying its 62,000 employees in Russia, but in an open letter to employees, McDonald's president and CEO Chris Kempczinski said closing those stores for now is the right thing to do. He says it's impossible to know when the company will be able to reopen its stores. Major League Baseball is helping employees missing out on work due to spring training cancellations. Tuesday, the organization said the $1 million fund will support ballpark employees that work for the Grapefruit and Cactus Leagues in Florida and Arizona. The Players Association and AFL-CIO, a federation of unions, will administer the fund. The money will be distributed to stadium workers and others, including concession crews, electricians, and janitors. Major League Baseball recently announced it was suspending spring training 2 weeks after it failed to reach an agreement with the Players Union. Coming up on First at 4, people around the world are giving back to help those impacted by the war in Ukraine, and experts want to make sure those donations end up in genuine helping hands.
And showers are on the way back as we head into tonight. I'll have the very latest on the way next.